Software engineers hate code. Okay, Dan Conwell. Do you know that I actually had a really good friend named Dan Conwell? It is completely strange to see someone named a friend, but this ain't him. This ain't the same Dan I know. Okay, this is a different Dan. What are the chances? Oh, Dan Cowell. Okay. So I have this thing where I insert letters in that don't exist. This is the best kept secret of software engineering profession. Engineers hate code, especially code written by other people. I mean, he's not wrong, okay? Dan's not wrong. I just want you to know that right now. Dan's not wrong. It's why we love working on greenfield projects so much. No code, no maintenance, no headaches. I mean, I not wrong. I'm just saying this sounds fairly correct. Ever wonder why microservices took off in teams of all sizes? Microservice architecture is the perfect way to pretend that the code you wrote last month is no longer exists. Now that it has been stuffed into a container and tucked behind a load balancer, it's a service, and we can all forget about it until it breaks. Then we deprecate it as legacy and replace it with something new. Rolling green fields forever. Let's go! It's so true. It is so good. I got a question about how one of your dependencies, got a question about how one of your dependencies work. You could look at its implementation or the test suite, but most engineers prefer to go to the place that everyone congregates to talk about, but not look at code. Stack Overflow is a great resource for finding the code needed to solve your problems without having to look at a lot of code yourself. Sick burn. Dude, press 1 in the chat if this guy's talking about you. Just press 1 in the chat if this is... It's okay. I know there's a lot of... You know what I see? I see about 30, 40 people telling the truth. I also see about 1,770 people lie right now. I'm sure you've been stuck for hours begging your colleagues to review your pull request. Why do you think it's taking so long? You're asking them to do the thing they hate most. Look at someone else's code. I mean, to be fair, Dan, it could be the other thing that went wrong. Your pull request happens to be 700 changed lines spread across 14 files. Maybe I don't want to look at your code because your code's huge. By the way, right now, I have a PR. I kid you not, 10,000 lines changed right now. Ain't nobody reviewing that one. Oh, you know what happened? We had to go to a V2 version of a data source, and it changed every single way you request data and every single name of every event and every single property of every event. I've just done a full rewrite. That's all I've done for the last week. I just fully rewrote it, and I feel like a turd. I should have just rewrote it from... Honestly, I should have just rewrote from the ground up. Would have been so much better, but instead, now look at me. All right, anyways, most people reading this have, at one point or another, approved a non-trivial pull request with a simple L... Yes. You've got tagged in on a bad day and didn't have the time to take a proper look at the code written by someone else. You have work to do. Who hasn't looked good to me yet? Who hasn't done this? Good enough. Honestly, if any change is longer than 150 lines, I just say TL, too long, didn't read, I'm sorry, or congrats. Like, that's it. That's what I say now. Because I'm not going to say it looks good to me, because it doesn't look good to me. It looks like horseshit to me. I don't know what it says. Sorry. Or congratulations. Only one thing can overcome engineers' hatred of code: their love of writing code. Software engineers will lock themselves in a room and do nothing but write code for hours. Some forget to eat, sleep, or poop. Notable engineers online invest hours of time writing about their code or about how they write code. Paradoxically, engineers love reading this stuff. Look at what we're doing right now. Even if they've never read the example code attached. I always skip over the... Oh, shit, Dan, are you a Benny Gesserit, Dan? He's a Benny Gesserit. That's the only possible answer. Okay, it's the only possible answer. Okay, he's the, what is it, the Quizart Haderach? Is that what this guy is? I swear, he's seeing into the future. Meaning of all kinds. Let's see, hold on. Notable. Let's see. Meetings of all kinds, technical and user documentation, testing, post-release monitoring, refactoring, all are common sources of frustration that cut into valuable time that could have otherwise been spent writing code. Engineers will spend enormous efforts learning or building tools to help them write more code. In the past couple of years, we've seen an entirely new generation of tooling emerge that can actually write code by itself, turning 10x engineers into 1,000x engineers. Asterisk. Use AI. Write stupid code faster with less thinking. Scientists observing engineering using AI in the wild have seen them writing 100x more sloks per hour. I think this was a GitHub. GitHub tried to say that the new, like, they've been measuring code output, and like 50% of all code written is now written by AIs via. And then you have to ask yourself two questions. One, how do they come up with that number? And two, man, how did they come up with that number? You know what? You know how they came up with that number? Well, let me tell you, buddy. VS Code has telemetry, man. Where do you think they're getting it from? Senior engineers have learned through hard-won experience that writing code is the ultimate diminishing return. They know that code becomes legacy the moment the first byte is saved to disk. Absolutely. The rolling green fields of their youth are happy delusion, distracting from the cold, hard truth that all code demands maintenance. They have felt the pain of unmaintained system breaking at the worst possible time, which is pretty much every single time it breaks. This is a fact. This is a fact of life. There are a limited number of hours in the day. The more code that gets written, the more things that are to break. Oh my goodness, this is so good. The more of those precious hours will be taken up by maintenance. The only logical course of action is to minimize the amount of code in production at any given time. Senior engineers' passion for writing code has been augmented with an even stronger desire to delete it. My favorite PRs are the ones that have more red than green. We actually had like a contest to see who could commit the least amount of code. And it's not that, and we all had features to build, right? We all had features to build, and it was all about who creates the least amount of code was the winner. It demands no maintenance. It causes no downtime. It requires no testing. Senior engineers understand that unnecessary code should be eliminated at all costs, and new code must prove its worth before being allowed to live. This is part of what drives them to pore over other people's code and provide meticulous reviews. This isn't to say that senior engineers are cynics. There's still beauty to be found in creating an elegant solution to a complex problem. The joy of creation hasn't diminished, but it has been tempered by an understanding that less is more, and that every line of code they write comes at cost. Senior engineers have hate extraneous code. They hate seeing time and effort invested into building yet another solution to an already solved problem. They hate code that doesn't need to exist, code that isn't providing value. Okay, so now this, on the other hand, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time with this because I don't believe this. The problem about the term senior engineer is that I mostly define it in perspective to experience. And I've seen a lot of people with a lot of experience. F that fence. Get the hell out of here, Chesterton. Because the problem is that engineers, and I've seen this a lot, specifically senior engineers have a sickness. And the sickness is called not invented here syndrome. And it spreads. That's the thing about this, is that it spreads faster than any other sickness I've ever seen. You get one engineer that catches a little bit of not invented here syndrome, and all of a sudden you have a team. You have a corporate initiative. You have buy-in. All of a sudden you're inventing something that doesn't need to be invented because there's one small thing that didn't fit your use case. Dang it, where is it? Anyways, if you look at some sort of reactive sockets thing, you'll actually see code I've written for reactive sockets. You know why? Because I too have had a little bit of, I've been affected by not invented here syndrome, okay? Okay, it's hard. It's hard not to be. All of a sudden you find yourself doing things that maybe you shouldn't be doing. It just happens. Prime, you're speaking directly into my soul with these words. Amen. I know. Be mindful of the cost that your code incurs. Don't write new code when you can use, improve, or fix what already exists. If you must write new code, write only what you need to get the job done. Understand your tools and the system your code runs on. Leverage the features of those systems to minimize the code you need to write, and by extension, the cost that imposes on your team and system. Dude, this is such a good thing. I cannot tell you how many people I've seen in my entire lifetime write a script in Node to do something you can do in 25 characters on the command line. It is shocking how many times you see tools that exist because people can't use Xargs or parallel. GNU parallel. Learn to use GNU parallel and the standard in, and your life will actually be a lot nicer. The amount of stuff you can do just with basic, I mean, we're talking about meat and potatoes knowledge of awk. I'm talking about like print 1, 2, 3, 4, and then passing in like an FS or an RS, right? Like not a lot. We're talking about like the most basic ones. Your mom has a nice standard in. Should see your standard out. Dang it, you lost my train of thought with that phenomenal comment. Now I can't even think. It's such a good one. Damn it. But either way, learn your command line tools, okay? Xargs, GNU, Parallel, Sed, awk, even just basic. We're talking about the basics. You don't even have to get fancy at all. Grep, find, my mom's standard in. Like, just learn them because they're going to be valuable. You're going to use them and you're going to be happy. JQ. JQ is such a great, simple example. JQ is so good. Dude, just check this out. Okay, here we go. We're going to just create foo, and I'm going to put in here 3 things. Okay, watch this. Hello is 5, and I'm going to go like this. Okay, there we go. We got a little bit of something going on right here. Dude, you can gosh, what is it called? Foo, right? That's the thing. We can pass this into JQ, right? Bam, 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 bam. You can do things like this. Did you know that you could just go like this? Hello is greater than 7. Look at that. Like, just, you don't have to know a lot of JQ right here. I'm not asking for a lot of JQ. I'm just asking for a little bit of JQ, right? Just like a little bit, like not even a lot. If you do that and you go into here, oh my goodness. I don't know why I just got confused there. ID is 69. Whoopsies. What did I just do there? I don't know what I just did. ID is 69. There you go. 70, 71, 72. Okay, you can go in that, and then you can even pipe this and just select out ID. Whoopsie daisies, that's not it. That ain't it. That ain't it. Just let it go. I don't know how to do that, so I'm just so stupid that I literally just take this, pipe it into another JQ, and just select out ID. Now we just have 72. I just only grabbed 72. That's it. First try. 70, like I grabbed out the ID of the one that's greater than 7. Right? How great is that? Now we can do it again. We can do the one that's, how about greater than 6? Look at that. Look how stupid I am. I didn't even do it efficiently. But even just knowing these things exist can just make your life 1,000 times easier. Right? It's fantastic. I didn't build a database. I just used simple querying to get data out. You know how many times this will solve your problems? Just know what's available. Stop writing these crappy programs, and boom, you'll crush it, right? You'll love your life. You'll love, like, it's so much better. Sorry, I just get so passionate about this. Like, understand your tools. Because you know why? The reason why I get so passionate about this, because I was the person on the other side of the fence. I was the person that said, why is this fence here? Let's tear it down. I hate it. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Why would anyone use Vim? I literally said that a bunch. Why would anyone use Vim? Vim is stupid. It makes no sense. Only losers use Vim. Why would anyone want to program on Linux? Why would anyone want to do these kind of things? I was that person, okay? I programmed C# in my Visual Studio with ReSharper. I looked down on everybody. I thought they're dumb. I thought NetBeans at one point was the greatest thing ever. You know, this happened, okay? And then all of a sudden I realized I was wrong. I was wrong one day when Anders Bakken from Netflix, I was like, hey, Anders Bakken, how does this thing work in Netflix over here? And at that point, I picked up Vim Motions because I liked the video game. So I was getting pretty fast. And he was just like, oh, you want to learn about that? All of a sudden, he's just hitting letters on the command line, flying through things and getting stuff done so fast. I've never seen anyone move with that speed in my life. And I thought, I'm doing it wrong. I'm wrong. I'm the person that's wrong. You know why I'm wrong? Because I can't do what that person just did. What he did in 30 seconds would have taken me 10 minutes, which means that I'm doing it wrong. I accepted it. I changed. He was using Emacs. I tried Emacs for about a year. I just like Vim better. What's his name, Tom? Anders. Okay? Classic Netflix on my team is pretty much just filled with Scandinavian people. I don't know what happened, but they all speak a language I don't understand. Their names are all like Anders and Jan. I don't know what's happening. It's fantastic. Anyways, the name is the Primogen.